there comes a moment when you keep trying to hit it out of the ballpark and you don't.
The value of articulating the specific activity and scoring them off the bat, on the 1 to 10.
Just know that they're the most impactful projects that are going to help you all uncover all the impact that's possible out there.
It's very helpful to have someone like you. You don't know us at all. You have no axe to grind. And yet you can look dispassionately and say, wow, you have an offering that's unique and important. And all you have to do is fix up how you're selling it.
I think what's very comforting and one, making it seem objective, so you don't have to, be emotional about it. Even though most scores are low, and given that that's probably going to be the same for any organization that does this, it gives you a very objective sense of, well, it is what it is.
We have been at it for 68 years, and we began with stroke patients back in 1955 here on this campus, and we evolved then to treating brain injured children, and then treating brain injured children and teaching the parents of well children. So that's what we've been doing. And if you look at that long piece of time, up until 2000, we had more kids than we knew what to do with. Our problem was not enough kids. Our problem was that we're a small nonprofit. We didn't charge much for what we did, clearly not enough. And we were always struggling to stay afloat, but we did because we never had a fundraiser. We never had a PR person or a marketing person, because we had TV here, we had radio, we had newspapers, we had magazines, all flowed people in here. Press was always positive. When the press came here, it was always they wanted to tell the miracle story or the good news. But from 2000 on, that world changed. And between 2000 and now, even our word of mouth, which was so powerful, of course, little bit by little bit, when there was no newspaper, no magazine, no TV, there was no way to get the word out. And we have been trying to navigate that world ever since, when COVID-19 came along. And that was kind of the ultimate perfect storm, because our parents literally couldn't get here. Most of our kids are severely and profoundly brain injured. They are not vaccinated. They cannot be vaccinated. It's not safe to vaccinate them, so they can't get on an airplane. So we shifted everything to online that we could, but we really have been in recovery mode ever since. We're down to probably half the population that we were seeing even 3 or 4 years ago.
I use a framework to kind of lay out what the impact is you're trying to make, and we'll work backwards from the types of things you have been doing that are getting results, the things that aren't getting results. It seems like there are some things that were getting results, maybe attention is not being paid to them. But given the limited amount of endowment and presumably time and resources you have, the goal will really be to identify, of all the things we can do, which ones are going to, make the biggest impact near term, while you build the other strategy you have in place that will take effect in 12 months plus.
Certainly the impact would be to be able to provide the maximum amount of help to brain injured kids by whatever means that we possibly can, and to help as many well kids be better, to enrich their lives and be more capable, more competent, more effective. So it's a big mission. It's not we're a small nonprofit, but we have a big mission, no question. And as to that number, I think for us, that number would probably be number of parents through our What to Do About Your Brain Injured Child course.
So that would be what we would call your most important number. And as you know, it's clearly tied to the impact you're making. Rate your marketing process. 10 state would be the ideal. You have more people wanting your courses than you can even deliver or treatment. And one is you don't really have a marketing process. You're just thinking about it. How would you score yourself today?
Somewhere between 1 and 2.
Okay, we'll give you a 2. Registration process. So the sales of the people that get introduced to you, a 10 would be 100% of them that have the means to get the help, even if they don't, they'll find a way to get the help. They sign up with you. Fundraising process, reaching out to the world, letting them know what you're all about, and asking them to help you now.
Effort would be high. I think result not, and especially this last 12 months, rather
Right.
poor.
And it's not like organization-wide, the processes have yielded very little,
Gotcha.
new donations or stuff
Yes.
like that. So I think
Gotcha.
organizations probably too.
In-person treatment process,
I would say very high.
7, 8, world-class treatment, world-class.
I would say 9.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that.
Awesome. Your clinical team, how well are they doing fulfilling their roles and responsibilities?
They get very high marks.
As you look at all these opportunities, I do see anything less than a 10 is an opportunity. They're not all going to be equal in terms of how it's going to drive course enrollments. Which 3 would make the biggest difference in getting people to buy those courses?
The very first one, the marketing process, the registration process.
I think sales before marketing, because there are active sales calls right now.
If you did amazing things and doubled your marketing, it would be the same as moving your sales from 2 to 4. It'd be the same as just consistently saying the right things to gain the trust to double your close rate. So I agree. And sales isn't going to cost you more money. You're short on cash. Improving your sales process isn't gonna, you don't have to pay some guru to come in and teach you sales. Someone there knows how to sell, and we could outline the next steps to improve that. So that makes a lot of sense, Lior. I second that priority for sure.
I think on that note, partnership and affiliates is probably similar, meaning any result there is not going to cost money, but one good partnership in whatever form could yield a lot of customers, very quick.
So here's what you have that no one else has. Here's what's so magical about what you have, Janet. Just in basic marketing terms, you have an offer, which is your online course, that converts, meaning X number of people hear about it, and without a lot of sales involved, they buy it. That is magical. Very few people have that.
Yeah,
Let's set the vision for this registration process, right? So it's actually, I'm kind of excited hearing this conversation because clearly someone knows how to sell. And so it's just a matter of teaching the others and as quickly as possible. So this is exciting. This is really good news. If there was no one to sell to, there were no phones ringing, there were no calls, there were no prospects, then we'd be starting from square one. So this is good. Given all of this and where we are today, what is the right next action? I will say 90% of organizations I talk to, they all say they have a playbook when it comes to this, but it's always like, yeah, but it's old, it's outdated, only I know where it is, no one's using it. So this is very common. At some point you knew it was important, it got away from you, things changed, that's fine. Okay, so I actually broke it up into 2 things, Hall. So who would be the best person on your team, Janet, if you communicate that this is important, here's why it's important, for them to put in a process where they're recording the sales calls? What were the biggest takeaways from today's discussion?
The value of articulating the specific activity and scoring them off the bat, on the 1 to 10, even though most scores are low, and given that that's probably going to be the same for any organization that does this, it gives you a very objective sense of, well, it is what it is. I think was very comforting, and one, making it seem objective, so you don't have to, be emotional about it. Just like, this is what it is. And second, see there's really a lot of upside. The second is, of course, a priority. Just saying it.
Well, I'd certainly reiterate exactly what Lior just said. And I would add to it, because it is kind of objective. It's no way cold or dispassionate, but it's objective. And that's very helpful. And I think in the world in which I've been living for the last 50 years, and I've been the director of this organization for 40 years, it's a long time. There comes a moment when you keep trying to hit it out of the ballpark and you don't. And when you've had that moment for the last 20 years, you begin to wonder, does anybody want this? And I mean, that's just a ridiculous thought, but it's very helpful to have someone like you. You don't know us at all. You have no axe to grind. And yet you can look dispassionately and say, wow, you have an offering that's unique and important. And all you have to do is fix up how you're selling it. When we do get the parents in the course and we do give that course, at the end, everyone stands up and says, you've changed my life. You've saved my kid. They sound just like the parents 10 years ago and 20 years ago and 30 years ago. But we're in a very rough moment, and it's extremely helpful to me to have someone of your magnitude and knowledge and experience say, okay, you've got a great, unique offering, and now you just have to get better at how you communicate it. And I think we can do that.
We always have limited resources and time. And so I think today you've all identified what the next steps are. Just commit to them. If they're still the right steps, commit to them as passionately as you do about how you take care of the children in your program and the parents in your program that go along with them. And you're golden. So my biggest takeaway, what a great woman, Janet. What a great cause. What a great impact. And hi, Janet's friend.
This is our Vice Director, Susie Asen. She's going to be doing a lot of the work that you just gave us.
Hi, Susie. Susie, don't
be writing that playbook.
Yeah, so don't hate me if you're going to have some projects, but just know that they're the most impactful projects that are going to help you all uncover all the impact that's possible out there.